everyone, this is Sherry. Welcome back. I'm going to be sharing a process video with you today on Project Life. Starting my 2015, this is just week one. I am starting off the year a little bit behind, but that's okay. I will get caught up. And I wanted to show you, first of all, before I get started, since I am on week one, how I organize my weeks. I go by do my Project Life by weeks. I do a 2-week spread at least for a week, and if I have extra things going on, I'll add some inserts, but primarily it's a 2-week spread for 1 week. I do like to label my weeks. So for example, my page will say, you know, week 1, week 2, and I'll have the dates on there. It's just how I started doing it years ago. That's how I like to continue doing it. So what I do is I have this binder that first of all has all my page protector layouts in it, so that I can see if I'm using a design A, I can organize and I can say I want to use this photo here, and it's kind of like planning sheets, so different for all of the different layouts of page protectors available, whether it's the Project Life or We Are Memory Keepers, and I keep them in this binder labeled by the style, so that I can be able to pull those sheets. I have them copied and I can pull them out when I'm doing my planning. That's one thing I do. But what I do, especially with the calendar, is the way I keep track is I print this off from the internet. I just Google a 2015 yearly calendar. I like this one from calendar365.com because what I like about it is it actually labels the weeks for me. So I can see here week 1 starts the first week of January, week 2, and it's so I don't have to guess what week I'm on. Hope you can see that there. It actually labels it for me, and so I just print this out, put it in a page protector, and put it in the front of my binder. And then as I'm going through, you can see here 2014. I didn't finish highlighting, but as I go through, I just highlight the week, and I can see where I've left off. So I don't have to go back and figure and count what is, you know, June 8th. I can actually count and look at the calendar and see that that's week 24. So I just wanted to share that little bit with you because it is a handy tool for me that's helped me stay organized. And so what I'm going to be doing is, like I said, I'm doing week 1. I am going to be using, I've got my photos all ready to go here, and I'm going to be using the hip kit from December. I still have quite a bit left in my kit. So I'm going to go ahead and use this on my Project Life layout for the first week in January, see if I can get some of this kit used up and get rid of it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I just wanted to kind of give you that little intro, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to begin laying out my photos. I typically start there, and we'll place the photos where I think I'm going to want them, and place those first on the background. And then what I'm going to do next, I'm going through the pattern papers that came in the kit, and I'm trying to select a piece of paper that I want to use for my title card. And I decided to go with this Amy Tangerine paper from her Stitched collection, and I just like the yellow, bright yellow. I thought it was pretty pretty cheery, so I decided to go ahead and go with that. And I'm just going to cut it down to a 4x6 size, and I'm going to be using that as the card for my title page. And now I'm going through some of the papers. I really liked this paper, this card actually. It was from Heidi Swapp, September Skies, and it's one of the papers that came with 4x4 cards. And so what I wanted to do is, it was such a pretty card, and I liked that it pulled in some of those other colors that I'm using, the blue and like the florals on that. So I cut it down to a 3x4. I'm going to use that for a little bit of journaling. And then you can see the blue papers in the bottom left. That's actually the same paper. I just used the front on one, behind one photo, and the back on another photo. And I'm just cutting those down to a 4x6. Really just kind of coming up with my backgrounds first and laying those out either in the pockets or behind a photo, whichever I need to come up with. And I'm going through and just selecting those backgrounds from the pattern papers that I have to choose from. And that's pretty much where I like to start. Again, I'm repeating that same thing in the upper right corner with those same papers with the blues. And So that's going to be the first thing I'm doing, try to come up with my backgrounds and kind of just give me a base to start with. And that's another one of the 4x4 cards, the You and Me. And I just cut it down to fit on the background paper. Now, what I do use a lot, you'll see there, I'm applying it to a 4x6 blank card. And I do have some there at the very top of the frame. You can see the 3x4 cards, the blanks. I actually get those. Those are the Project Life blank cards. And I love to keep those on hand because a lot of my pockets are filled with photos. I am very photo heavy in Project Life. That's just my style. That's the purpose I do it, is to keep memories and to keep photos. So for me, to do a 2-page layout and only have a few pictures and have the rest with just pretty cards, to me it's pretty and it works for a lot of people. But for me, the primary purpose of this is to keep track of my photos, my memories, and keep those down. So I'm always very photo heavy. I like to make sure I don't skimp on my photos. But sometimes I just need a background. Like you can see on the left there, I've got like, I think that's like a 3x3 picture. And so I will use those blank cards as a background and begin to build my embellishments and anything else that I want to put in that pocket. So I do use those cards a lot, the blank cards. I recommend them if you haven't tried them. You could use just plain cardstock too and cut it down. We all have so much in our stash. You can certainly do that as well. But I am using those that I used it on the You and Me pocket there, and the kind of in the center and the bottom, and I used that card and then added the photo to it. But it gives me a good base to work with. And so now what I'm doing is I'm working on my title card, and I have the yellow that I'm using, but I wanted just a little bit more. And so I'm using a strip of that blue paper so that I can kind of tie that blue in as well that I have in the rest of the page. I decided to go get one of my punches, my edge punches. I don't use those very often anymore. And so I just wanted a little bit of something on that strip. So I went and got one of my edge punches and used that, just a small scallop, to kind of give a little bit of interest to that strip. And then I'm just applying my week 1 title using the thickers that came in the kit. And as I said at the beginning, I do like to put the week that I'm working on. This is week 1 of 2015. So I always identify on my title card what week it is. And then I will also add the date that covers. So I'm going to be getting I think I'm getting my date stamp now. So I'm going to go ahead and apply that. And I think it's January 1st through January 3rd. And I'll stamp the date on there so I not only see what week it is, but I have the date there. And so I just wanted to go ahead and add a few more things to that title card to kind of spruce it up a little bit more. And so I'm using the rub-ons that came in the kit. And these were also from Amy Tangerine's Stitched collection. And I thought the camera looked really cute there. So I'm going to go ahead and put that camera on. And then I'm also going to use a little bit of the watercolor, kind of like a watercolor rub-on. And put that up in the corner. I'm going to do a couple of those watercolor rub-ons in the corner, just to give it a little bit more color, a little bit of interest there. And I do like to, fix up my title cards and make them a little bit more interesting. Okay, so I've got my title card done. And so now what I'm going to do is start adding some embellishments and journaling, different things to my photos. Now, I kind of bounce around from pocket to pocket. I don't typically finish one completely. I'll work on something, then I'll move to another picture and work on something and kind of come back. So I tend to kind of bounce around a little bit when I'm working on my layouts. And it's just kind of like, maybe I'm not sure what I want to do, and I'll kind of move on to something else and then come back to it. I'm using some of these Tim Holtz little mini stickers. I love these little stickers. They're they're black with white letters, and they're just tiny. They're a perfect size, and I have a couple of packs of those, and I really love those. So I'm putting those on the photo there. And if you're wondering what that is, let me just tell you a little bit behind this, because it's people are like, what in the world is that? We kind of have a tradition in our family, and it's on January 1st. Everybody's off work. It's a holiday. And so we've had this tradition for years where we all get together, and my mom will make chocolate gravy and biscuits. Now, if you've never heard of that before, so many people are like, oh my gosh, I've never heard of that. It's so, so good. And it's like we do it one time a year. Okay, it's not something obviously that you could or would want to eat all of the time, but it's something special that she did for us when we were kids, and we just grew up with that. And, you know, it's something that the family looks forward to every year. And so, it's basically just biscuits, and she makes this gravy that's just chocolate. It's just chocolate gravy. And so that's what we do every New Year's Day. We have breakfast at somebody's house, and my mom will make chocolate gravy, and we'll have biscuits. And it's just a great, relaxing day. We have so much fun because it's just everybody's off. The hustle and bustle of the holidays are over, you know, Christmas. And so it's really a time that it's just kind of a downtime for us, and we just get together and enjoy the morning. Just spend time together. And so that's what we were doing on this particular day. And so I'm putting that on the label. It just says chocolate gravy and biscuits. And what I'm doing now, I'm off to the side. I'm looking for a stamp. And I wanted something that said traditions because I wanted to identify that this is actually a tradition that we do. And I couldn't find a stamp that said just traditions or tradition. So I did find this Christmas stamp from Technique Tuesday. It was an Allie Edwards stamp, and it said Christmas traditions together. So what I did is I just split those apart. I just cut the stamp. And don't be afraid to do that. You know, you can cut them, and you can always put them back together to use them, you know, on your stamp pad. But I wanted just the tradition part. So I snipped that little stamp, and I'm just going to stamp traditions on the label there. Because I did want to identify that that is a tradition that we have done for years. And so it's funny, something that we've grown up enjoying, my daughter grew up enjoying, and now even my grandson is growing up. And so it's just kind of fun, you know, and my, you know, my brother's family, my sister's family, and all the kids, and everybody looks forward to it. So that's what that card is about. And I'm going to do some journaling on that floral card, a little bit about that. So most of these photos here on this spread are from that morning, because I only had 2 days in this week. So, and I did want to really use a lot of those pictures because it was a time that the family was all together. So, I'm going to go ahead, and I'm just kind of wrapping up some of the other photos there, the smaller photos, and just adding some labels. And I'm sorry that cut out right there. My video actually stopped recording, but it only missed just a few minutes. So really the only thing you missed was that label that I was putting on there. And so I'm still continuing to just tack down my photos now. Now it's to the point where it's like, okay, just get the photos down, and then I'm going to add everything else to those. And so I'm going through here. I'm looking for something to add to that pocket, and I decide on that gold word sticker. Who doesn't love those? Those are just gorgeous. And so I'm going to put that on the upper right corner. My grandson, that was his chocolate gravy breakfast, which he made a complete total mess of, but he loved it. And so I'm going to use that word sticker up on that right hand corner. And I'm going through some wood veneers. We had some really cute wood veneers in the pack, and so they're from Evalicious. So I'm going to be putting some wood veneers. Right now what I'm doing is I pulled that floral card off, and I have it off to the side. I'm actually on the typewriter typing up my journaling on that card. And so that's where I snuck away to. I'm over at this side of my desk on my typewriter. I have just a little portable typewriter that I found, and I love it because it's an old style typewriter. It's not electric or anything, takes a ribbon, but it's really compact. It's really small. And so I can actually just it comes with a little lid that locks on. And so I just kind of put it under my desk. When I need it, I can just lift it out and set it on my desk and use it because it's really small and compact. So I really like that. So I'm just typing my journaling on there. I don't always tap on my cards. I just take it at random. I do like the variety of having type on my journaling cards, and two, I can fit more on. So what I did was I just typed a little bit about the tradition that I just told you about with the breakfast that we do on New Year's Day. And then I'm using that wood veneer review of today. I thought that was a great wood veneer to put on that card. And so I'm putting that on there. I just love that floral at the bottom. It just looks, I don't know, it just adds a lot to that layout. So love that. And so then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going through some of the ephemera pack that came in the kit, which is from Amy Tangerine. And I'm just going through the pieces and finding things that I can use on my spread. Lots of great little pieces in there, and just going through one by one and finding a place where I can put those. And I'm kind of mixing around here as I go and trying to decide what I like. Again, some more of those wood veneers. And I'm just kind of going through, rearranging a little bit, trying to figure out what I want to do. And I decided to go to my bin. You see that little red bin there in the bottom. That is all full of Elle Studios tags. I have so many of Elle Studios tags. Some of them are older because I have a ton and I just can't use them all. So what I did is I pulled out some older ones, and sometimes I like those for just a variety, for little spots of journaling. I don't always want to use a label. I don't always want to write directly on the background. I just like something for a little bit of interest. And so I pull out her cards and use those, and I cut the one apart there and using half on each next to each photo. So I can just add a bit, not huge journaling, but just a little bit of caption about maybe what was going on, or just thoughts about that day, or who was in the photo. And so I do like using those cards. And like I said, I have so many of those cards. They're great for Project Life. And then I have that little Amy Tangerine, like a little cell phone cut out there. And I'm putting some paper behind that, and I'm going to do just a bit of journaling there to go with that photo in the top pocket there. And that's a photo of my husband and my grandson. And my grandson always likes to sit by him. When we at dinner, he loves to be by his pop, so I was just journaling a bit of that. And then I'm putting that smile veneer on that photo of my niece with my grandson. They love each other, have so much fun together. And then again, I'm actually committing to this and putting down these pieces on these little ephemera pieces and trying to wrap up some of the embellishments on the layout. And I'm just doing a bit of journaling here. And then I'm going to do some journaling on that yellow card up there. And I like the arrow. I'm pointing to the photo that I'm actually journaling about. And so I'm talking about my grandson. He's got a little Hershey's Kiss in his hand there in that photo. And I love it because I had those out at Christmas time, and he learned really quick what those were. And I came in one day to find him. He was here at the house, and I came in one time, and he was sitting down, and he had that little Hershey Kiss, and he was unwrapping it. And when he saw me, he looked at me, he smiled so big. And so I was just documenting a little bit about catching him with the Hershey Kisses and how he found out real quick what those were. And so that was cute. And so I'm going to be just wrapping up here, finishing up my journaling, and putting a little bit of note here about my grandson's time of eating his chocolate gravy and biscuits. And then I'm adding one more rub on there to the bottom. And I didn't realize till later that it says love and the card says love, but oh well, I like the gold. I thought the gold went, so I decided to go with that. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. I've got some close-up shots for you. And again, thank you so much for watching, and you have a great day.